Danger Talk Season 3, Episode 4. I'm Daniel Mogg, your co-host. Russ is on his way from the facility right now, and on today's episode, we're going to talk about the game from last week, what they can improve on going to Arizona. His best friend from childhood stops by, Scott Pickett. We're also going to answer some of your fan questions coming up here on Danger Talk.
Come join Danger Talk with Daniel and I. We're having a lot of fun talking about the Hawks' life and more. Can't wait for it. It'll be a great season.
It's like a loop machine.
So let's talk about football, huh?
Football.
Yeah, the game was tough.
Dude, I was soaked by that game. That was raining hard. I was not happy with that.
It was raining pretty good.
I was soaking
It's
wet.
good old Seattle for you.
Yeah. But obviously, game was what it was, but what were some of, at least the positive takeaways for you after that game?
I think that the positive takeaways, there weren't too many great positives. I think that we didn't give up.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest positive. Listen, we didn't play good. We didn't play good enough. We didn't play championship football, and that's unacceptable. We got to play better. They had the punt return, which killed us. That was a start. Then we answered back. We had a touchdown to Tyler, and then we kind of just they got the ball back, and we gave them too much. We gave them free points. Yeah. You can't give teams free points, especially teams that were one play away from going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Even if they didn't have Drew Brees, you can't give them points. We gave them points in the National Football League, and that's unacceptable. So we got to be better. We're going to be better, and we got to fix things. And so going on the road, Arizona Cardinals, always a tough environment. We always have a lot of fans that go, so that'll be exciting. But, it's going to be a tough challenge, so we got to be prepared and ready to roll.
I think you said never giving up, which something I've always admired about you is like until that clock says 0-0-0 at the end of the game, like you are not giving up. You're trying to make plays. Is that like a muscle that you've had to learn how to flex? Is that something that's been a part of you your whole life? Because I think, obviously it's easy to just be like, well, we'll just throw in the towel. But I've always admired that about you, even from the crazy NFC, the championship game in Green Bay. I remember there was a clip on the sideline where you're like, we're only down 2 scores.
Yeah.
So,
I think you just go to the truth. You go to the truth of what the situation is, what the scenario is, and where are we at? Can this be done? And it can. If there's time on the clock, it can be done. And so I think that belief and that unwavering desire to never give up. And to be honest with you, I respect the game too much. Mm-hmm. I respect the game too much to give in. I work too hard throughout the week. We work too hard throughout the week to try to do something great. And even when it doesn't go the way you want, you can't just give in because you feel like it's over, or you feel like could be over, or all these negative scenarios. I'm a person of great faith, just in life, and then just obviously in sports and what we do and the craft that we have. And I think that you put the sacrifice in all week. Why would you give up now?
Yeah.
And so I think it's the kind of same thing in life, in relationships, friendships, and business, and everything else. Is you're going to put the time and energy. You're going to get all the way there, and then I always compare it to climbing a mountain. Sometimes you just can't keep going. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times, you're climbing that hill, or you're going on a hike, or wherever it may be, and it's like you're going all the way there and turn back around. No, we're going to finish this thing.
Yeah.
And so I believe in finishing. So
yeah. No, I think that was cool. Obviously, just even the will to score a touchdown at the end of the game, let's at least finish on the right note. Now, we did have kind of in the parking lot afterwards. For me, it was a cool moment with DWade in the house and you guys just hanging just a bit. Could you share just your relationship? What your guys' relationship is?
Yeah, I got to know DWade while we were in Cannes. This off season. And so. Ciara was performing. She was performing at a big Spotify and Hulu party, and then also a Twitter party. She was performing, and the Twitter party, Dwyane was there. Gabrielle was there too, and we got to spend a lot of time. We just jammed out, hung out, and one of the cool parts about it all was, Dwyane and I really connected about life, about the game of basketball, about the game, about just sports in general, and just preparation. Like I've always admired his game. Mm-hmm. He worked at it to play that many years. How many years did he play? Like, I don't know.
That was a while.
19 years probably.
Got it, Henry? 15? Okay.
Yeah, let's look that up. Can somebody find that stat for us here? But he played so many years in the NBA and played so well. I wanted to ask him why. Like, what was it? Mm-hmm. What did he do? How did he set things up? And we had a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
The only different thing that we're very different on is our height.
He's a little taller.
But he's a little taller. But
Not by much.
But the cool thing is that, you know, I always admired the number 3 for a lot of different reasons. The Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. I've always admired it because John 3:16, one of my favorite, you know, verses in the Bible. And the reality is, you know, I had 16 in college. Number 3, you know, it was my favorite number, 7 and 3. And Joe Montana actually had 3 in college when he was at Notre Dame, had 16, obviously, in the NFL, you know, playing for the 49ers. And, you know, I wore 16 in college. I was like, okay, 3:16, Joe Montana wore it. It's one of my favorite numbers, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. And then Dwyane Wade has it too.
Yeah,
so that's pretty
there you
cool.
go.
And so I was like, who wears 3? And Dwyane Wade was one of those guys who wore 3, famous people who wore 3. So, you know, for me, that was always something interesting. And I also, when I was young, I was like, man, I don't think there's any other quarterbacks who've been in the Hall of Fame that have worn 3.
Ooh,
and so
okay.
that was one of my things. So, yeah, so I got a lot of respect for Dwyane Wade.
Yeah.
I love how he plays the game. Him and Gab, we went to dinner. We went to dinner a couple times out in Cannes, just spending time together. We tore up Carbone, the restaurant out in New York that was in Cannes. We had some funds till 3 o'clock in the morning, just having dinner and hanging out and just spending time together. It was a blast. Just and you know, I think that, you know, he's done it the right way.
Yeah, I always admired him, just the humility that he showed publicly, like when LeBron came in and embraced him, and like, you know,
he's
it
a
was
winner.
his
He's a
team.
winner. He cares about winning. He cares
Yeah.
about the game. He cares about the process. He cares about others. You know, and that's what I really respect about him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was cool because he hit us up. Him and Ciara were in New York for an event, and then you know, he hit us up saying that he was going to come. Him and Gabrielle were going to fly up to
the game.
from LA to the game, and so he flew up that day, landed around 12:15, comes to the game. Saw him afterwards. I was able to exchange jerseys.
Yeah,
so,
that was cool.
You know, so that was really awesome, and you know, so I think we both really respect each other. And then we're going to do a movie together. Yeah, so that's going to be exciting too with Why Not You Productions, and it's a really cool story that Gabrielle Union's she's going to star in, and it's an amazing story. So I can't wait for you guys to see that. It's about this guy named Vernon, who's a former football player, and you know, mother was a drug addict. You know, struggled with heroin, and just a very, very real, heavy, but impactful story that I think the world needs to see, that we're really excited about doing with Why Not You Productions, Ciara and I's production company, and what we're fired up about with partnering with Dwyane Wade and Gabrielle Union and doing that. And so that's going to happen soon. And so there's a lot going on with that.
A lot going on. Now, I want to give a shout out because your Badgers gave a whoop down on a team that I don't like very much as well.
Yeah. That was
Did
good.
you give Janet a hard time?
Of course, like Janet Jen. You're talking about my PT, my
Yes,
physical
who is
therapist.
Michigan
Yeah, she's Michigan
fanatic.
all the way. So funny thing is, we're gonna have a little fun light wager on the deal. You know, that she, like, if whoever wins, basically, the terms of the deal were whoever wins. Okay, the person who loses has to put the opposing teams, you know, sticker icon badges on the side of their cars for the week, and have to wear the flag. So if I was going to drive down 405, you know, to go to this facility, I was going to have to wear Michigan, you know, things and flags on the top and this and that. And then, you know, I was going to, you know, and she was going to have to wear, you know, Wisconsin stuff, and vice versa. She was going to have to wear, you know, a 16 Wilson
16,
Badgers
yeah,
jersey,
as
which
she
is going to be
should.
great, of course. I
Yeah.
mean, red and white. Why wouldn't she want to wear that? And then I was going to have to wear a Charles Woodson jersey, which I had gotten her, that Charles Woodson had actually signed. So these are all the terms of the deal, that anytime somebody for that week would, you know, whoever wins or loses, whatever, if whoever loses, basically, whoever, you know, if, let's just say that you were Janet,
Yeah.
you know, hey, Janet, you would have to say, I love Wisconsin football. So it sounded fair.
Yeah.
And everything was, you know, vice versa. But then the deal fell apart about 2 minutes before kickoff because she wanted to do it on social media, which I was 100% fine with, but she doesn't have social media. So I said, okay, I will do a video of myself saying how much I love Michigan football if you guys beat us, but you're not going to beat us. But I'll do that, no problem. All good, right? It'd be pretty funny. But she was like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
She
And so-
knew. She knew it was going to be bad. Probably.
she knew. She really did know, and it was a done deal. So Janet Jen, sorry, I know you're listening to this somewhere on your podcast, on your ears, all over the world, wherever you are. And all I know is that you guys lost. Wisconsin won on Wisconsin, and I would sing the fight song, but I'll let you sing it this week, all week. It's exciting. So the Badgers won.
What
They
do you think
kicked
about the
butt.
Badgers this year?
They look really good. I like the quarterback. I like Taylor's amazing,
Taylor's
the
a
running
beast.
back.
Yeah,
They
he's a
got good
beast.
defense. I think Coach Paulie Chris is the best. He was one of the best coaches I've ever been around. He was my offensive coordinator when I was there. So, and Camp Randall, I mean, it's arguably the best day in the world. Here in Seattle Century Lake there, I mean, there's only a handful of stadiums that are like that playing there. So it's one of those things that, you ever been to Wisconsin?
No, I need to go.
You got to go.
Yeah.
You got to check out Camp Randall. So
Yeah.
all the UW Badgers, I love you guys. That was a big win, a huge one, and we got to keep it going. And it's going to be a good season for those guys.
And also, shout out, we did see a clip today. You've been working with Future on his baseball swing.
Dude, did you see him swing that bat?
What was the exit velocity on that?
Dude, it was gone, 110 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It left the place. He, funny story was, we were down in Mexico, our place in Mexico, and he was swinging, and he wasn't, you're young. He just turned 5.
Which is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, he just turned 5. So this was when he was 4 years old, and he was swinging, and we spent quality time together a lot, and so I was just trying to, pitch to him and hit off the tee, and I've been pitching to him normally for about a year and a half now, and he was just kind of swinging and not really getting his hips into it and not really letting it loose, and so we went to the batting cage. I kind of showed him how to do it. I had Decker pitch to me actually, and I showed him how to really you want to get your hips into it and let it loose. And sure enough, ever since, he's been hitting home runs after home runs after home runs. And so, we had a little, after the Wisconsin win, of course, we were all celebrating, having a good time. And so I pitched to him, Scott's back. What's up, Scott? You're back.
Scott's back.
So
there he is.
I ended up pitching to Future after the big old Wisconsin win over Michigan, of course. We're all celebrating in the driveway. And first pitch, I pitch it to him, and he knocks it. Smokes the house. So it hits the wall. That's a home run. Hits the wall. Just home. I mean, he looks like Ken Griffey Jr. swinging. I mean, he really does. Like, you guys don't understand how good that swing is, and how athletic he is, and how smooth he is. So it's really cool. Just you just get to work with your kids, and he's got something every day. He's been working. He's been doing, karate lessons, been doing basketball lessons. He's been doing soccer lessons. He's been doing football, and now baseball too, obviously, as well. So he loves sports. He loves getting out there playing. It's cool because Ciara and I get to go to his soccer games a lot of times on Fridays and stuff, and just spend quality time. So it's cool. And he's been scoring a lot of goals in soccer. I mean, he's been killing it, making plays. So that's awesome too.
We have special guests.
We do have a special guest
Fresh
here.
off the press.
Yes.
Here. Scotty Pickett.
This is my best friend, guys. You don't even know. Scott Coleman Pickett. Okay, so first of all, just a little background on Scott, okay? This guy's got more collection of shoes and hats you can ever imagine. He looks like a golf pro right now. And he's my childhood best friend. Well, actually, we were enemies. I used to dominate him on the field when we were growing up. Yeah, definitely did. I used to dominate him on the field. So Scott was kind of like Scott was like, actually, I was probably the enemy on the recess field, wasn't I, Scott, growing up?
You were a bully, weren't you?
Sure. You were the big time bully.
Yeah, I was. Scott, Scott's not used to being like on these microphones. You got to put your mouth near the microphone.
Well, see, I don't have a nice little cover like you guys have. So I don't wanna get too close.
You don't have the music cover. Like I'm recording a song. But anyway, so Scott and I grew up kindergarten through high school. We went to the same school. Kindergarten through about 5th grade, we were enemies.
6th grade, actually.
Well, yeah, 6th grade became
That's
friends.
when it started, turning a little
6th
bit.
grade, we became friends. though.
Frenemies?
Yeah. So no, we were enemies. Yeah, I was on one side of the field, just trying to take heads off, tackling wise. Knocked some teeth out along the way, and true story. And then Scott was the alpha dog on the other side of the field, making plays and dominating. And then we said, you know what? Hey, how about we join teams and really dominate the recess field? And that's what we did. And so ever since, he became my star wide receiver in high school. I was the star, quote unquote, assisting point guard. Didn't score much, but I passed it a lot, and he scored a lot. Not to say that I couldn't drop buckets, but I was throwing touchdowns. I want him to score some buckets. But anyway, so Scott was the star shooter on our team. He led the way. We had some other good basketball players. Cole Hawthorne would say he was the best shooter in the team. Sorry, Cole, if you're listening to this, way low, you weren't. Scott was. And then, that was kind of our identity. So Scott and I have spent a lot of time together, a lot of games, a lot of moments. He sits in the box at every game with the fam. what is he like? I don't even know what he's like.
I don't ever really get
Scott,
to see
what are you
him,
like? I want to hear what Scott says.
I like to look through my long lens on the field and check in on Scott periodically during the game.
Yeah, Scott, what would you say you're like on the field?
I don't
games?
really talk during the games usually. Unless Anna's there, then usually we'll talk a little bit. But
why do you talk to my sister? That's weird.
It's kind of like a
why do you
family
talk
thing.
only when Anna's there?
Well, she sits beside me.
Okay.
And then
Just
Vic sits on the other side to kind of protect anyone from coming to bother me or stress me out about anything. So, just kind of watch the game in silence. And they tend to be fourth quarter comebacks usually. We can't just blow anybody out. So maybe you could work on that. That'd be helpful.
Okay, you want me to start? Okay,
I think
you know what?
Seahawks
You're right.
fans might appreciate that as well.
I'm going to start trying to blow people out in the first quarter. Let's do it. Why not?
Let's do it. Why not you?
I think that's a good plan.
Yeah, I like that plan. I don't mind that plan. I love that plan actually.
Scott,
It's
you
like
got
what we
any
did in the
juice?
Super Bowl.
You got any juice on Russ for us on Danger Talk?
I've got too much juice.
Too much juice?
I don't think that could be the first step here. I think that's maybe like a repeat. We'll get into something a little bit better next time.
Okay. So you will come back though.
Maybe.
He's declared he'll come back on the podcast
For some juice.
So Scott, tell people what you do. Like with My World, we've been best friends ever since we were young, but just kind of like what you do in My World, obviously from the camps and so much more.
There's a lot. Basically anything with money is kind of what I deal with. Then also the camps and the foundation. So we obviously got a lot of stuff going on off the field. And then I kind of run all the business and finance stuff.
Yeah, so Scott's my CFO. He helps with all that. But you're one of the smartest guys I know, honestly. One tremendous athlete, but we were close because I got a little story for you, just so you know, Scott. Okay, so like I said, Scott's my CFO. He helps run my passing academies. We've been doing that since we were 10th, 11th grade, pretty much, and been really cool. We've met over 10,000 plus kids over the years, probably, and it's been really amazing going around the country, around the world, really doing that, and it's been really spectacular. But a little story about Scott, so growing up, I was never book smart. I always had to work at it. Scott was book smart. Scott worked at it. Yeah, I was street smart. I'm street smart. So anyway, so I got smart. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be best friends. One with the second most athletic guy in the room, in the class. He was actually pretty darn athletic, and two, he was probably one of the smartest guys I knew. So I needed help. So Scott would help me a bunch with my homework. He would help me just get prepared for class and be ready to roll. So, we became really close in that. I had another guy named Jimmy Wilshire. Jimmy Wilshire, just so you know, Jay Will, if you're listening to this at all, who knows? You're probably making deals out there. But anyways, he got a 1,600 on his SATs, Jimmy Wilshire did. Perfect score on his SATs. His dad got a perfect score. He was the guy that would always, he would read a book a night. Literally a 300-page book a night, just read. Smartest guy Scott, you would say he's probably the smartest guy we've ever known.
Yeah, I mean Jimmy definitely is, and also he's our center in basketball, undersized guy. He's probably 6'4", 6'5", going up against the 7-footers we had to play against.
Super long arms.
Good shooter too.
Yeah. So anyway, I was in this. You were in the history class with me and Jimmy. We were in the same class, I think, in this class. I think. And anyway, so
what year is this?
This was, I think, 5th or 6th grade. I think we're in the same class. Mr. Bros.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you remember what Mr. Bros told me? So we had this teacher called Mr. Bros. Okay. And Mr. Bros. Okay, listen, don't judge me, guys. But Mr. Bros had told me that I was like, Mr. Bros, I want to be like Jimmy. I want to be like Scott. I want to know all this stuff. How do they know all this stuff? They're studying all this stuff. They're studying all these stuff, AD, BC, all this stuff. I want to know all this knowledge and everything else. And I'm working my tail off to figure out this information. I'm studying. Listen, I liked reading, but you guys ever read, Daniel, and you read and you kind of start falling asleep? You ever, you read and fall asleep? Okay.
I like to read.
I read. Vic over here.
That's not a normal thing.
So, okay, I read and it's bedtime stories. When I think about reading, I think about bedtime stories. So fast forward, so Mr. Bros is like, Russell, you got to try this thing. And Jim was like, yeah. And Scott's like, yeah, you got to try this thing. I'm like, what? Wait, what is it? What is it? And they're like, Mr. Bros goes it's osmosis. I'm like, we had just learned about osmosis, right? And I'm like, yeah, it's osmosis. I'm like, what? Okay, yeah, what do I have to do? Well, all you have to do, get your history book, Okay, put it under your pillow. Open to the pages that you want to learn. Okay, and then Jim is like, yeah, this is what I do every night. This is how I read a book a night. Open to the pages you want to learn. Okay, and then all you do is you highlight what you want to highlight and everything. You kind of read and skim it over, and then you lay down, put the book underneath your pillow, and osmosis, it goes right into your brain. So true story. This kid, I'm in 5th grade. I come home. Okay, the next day I come into class. I'm like, guys, it worked. Scott, Jimmy, Mr. Prost, it worked. Osmosis. They're like, what do you mean? I was like, I think I know everything about this test, this quiz. So we had a quiz that day. And sure enough, like I'm filling out these questions like I know them all. I'm feeling great about the quiz. Sure enough, I got a C- on the quiz. I may even got a D. I got like a C- or a D on the quiz. They're like, I'm like, Mr. Prost, why did osmosis work? And they're like, you really believed us that osmosis would work and that you would learn all that stuff? So that was me trying to find my way. So then I realized, okay, you know what, you jerks, I'm gonna have to do everything I can to learn. And I had to sit up in the room, raise my hand, and but anyway, so Scott's caught a lot of touchdowns for me. He's been around for a long time, so I know he's got work to do. He's got things to do. But
also with that story though, it was diffusion because osmosis involves water. So
well,
I don't think you can get water out of your.
Well, you guys
textbook,
said
but-
osmosis.
No, it was diffusion. It's all right.
If only,
It's a
if only
technicality of the
Snapchat had been
story.
around during that time,
that'd been nice.
that would have been real.
If only
nice.
Snapchat was around.
But before I leave here, should we talk about since we're talking about the school days, should we talk about you trying to read an English class? Because that was one of my favorite memories of all time.
Oh, what is this?
Dr. Hales?
With Doc
Hales? Don't tell that story.
So
Don't tell that story.
I'm going to tell it anyway.
Don't tell that story. Oh,
viewers,
jeez.
they want to hear this. So
Oh, God.
every day, Russ wanted to read an English class.
Now listen, you got to tell them what grade it is, okay? Give them a little preference, because now let me take you guys through
like 11th
Let me
grade.
take you guys before I ruin your story, okay? Let me take you guys through my schooling history. I started hanging out with you. And that's where my life started changing. For the better is what you're saying.
You're welcome.
So fast forward, I get into 8th grade, 9th grade. Okay, now I'm in 9th grade. I'm in high school, and I start getting really pretty serious about school. I'm thinking about where my future is going to go, what I want to do. Then 10th grade. Now I'm actually starting to get good grades. Like, I'm actually starting to get some like A's and 1 or 2 A's and a lot of B pluses and stuff like that. Now I get into 11th grade, I'm starting actually getting some A minuses and B pluses and stuff. So anyways, my schooling is going up. I'm on the rise. My stock is rising. So now into Scott's story about Doc Hales. Okay, we had the coolest class. We had we had a really cool class. So go ahead.
Well, it kind of goes back to sophomore year where every single day we were in the same class 2 years in a row with Doc Hales, and all of sophomore year you begged to read every day because every day you had to read the story, right?
Can I read?
He was like that guy, like in the front.
Every time.
Every time.
We're in this big U shape, right? And he would always be like, "Doc, come on, let me read today. And it was no go every time, right?
No.
So finally, junior year, after like a year and I don't know, a few months, half a year of Russ begging and pleading.
This is near the end of the year.
Yeah. Doc Hill's like, fine, Russ, you can read today. Like, start off like whatever page, whatever it is, right?
We're reading Macbeth.
That's a great detail. I don't remember.
We're reading Macbeth.
Okay.
I'm a romantic just by nature, so that's why I remember this. So, like Macbeth, I really wanted to read it, So, anyways.
So I think you made it like 2 lines and Russ reading. And Doc's like, no, okay, can't do it. No, next one. And literally you had to pass
2
it
words. 2 words. I started reading. He's like, you know what? Never mind. And then so I'm like, Doc, like why can't I read? He said, you can't read. And I'm like, that's not very nice.
Okay. Scott, thank you for your time.
Thanks for joining, bro.
Thanks so
Come
much.
back soon.
Yeah, maybe. Thanks, guys.
It's good seeing
Take
you.
our
Scott.
Kickstarter. No, that's a great segue to some of our fan questions. Thank you guys for sending in. A couple of you sent in.
Yeah, we really
Instagram,
appreciate it. Yeah.
Some YouTube comments and whatnot.
Appreciate you guys joining Danger Talk once again. It's always fun when you guys join. So we got some more fun fan questions for you guys.
Here. This is from Rationally Cute. You mentioned future, but she wants to know, what do you and Sienna do to spend time together?
Well, Sienna, have you guys seen that video I posted on of us doing ballet?
Ballet.
Yeah, ballet together. That one, that was one of our. Peely, how many views did that get? We got Peely over here. She's one of our content crew members. Yeah,
it got a lot.
On the gram.
I didn't know. It got a lot.
Yeah, it got a lot. I think it's almost at probably 2 million views now. We got a lot of views. But more importantly, like Sienna and I were like, I was taking her, because I try to spend quality time when I get my days off with them, especially because I'm only at the facility all day.
Yeah.
And so whenever I can, like I took him to school this morning. I try to take him to school every Tuesday and stuff like that. And so, I was taking her to ballet every weekend, and I'm over there doing the dances and stuff like that. But she's, you know what she really loves? She really loves roughhousing. She really loves
Really?
like playing with
That's
Future
funny.
and like just, playing all the guy sports and just doing stuff. Like she loves getting outside. You saw her in the video. She was right out there too. And she likes taking the bat and swinging. You should have seen her swing. I should have posted that video. You should have seen her swing. She hits this ball so far. But she's like her mama. She loves dancing. She loves moving around.
Yeah.
She's entertaining, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Couple other questions here. This is from, speaking of her mama, it says, El Cefe, will you ever have Ciara on Danger Talk?
Ooh, we should, baby. We should have you on.
She's a busy woman,
Yeah,
right
she's
now.
busy. She's about to perform in Houston, and then she's got Atlanta this week, and then she's
Chicago,
going. She's
New
going to
York.
Chicago next week, DC. She's on a tour right now, the Beauty Marks tour right now. So, if you guys are listening, you guys should check her tour out. She's been traveling. I think it's sold out, but you guys should try to go see it if you can. But she's all over the world. But yes, she will have to. We'll have to have her on. She should have her own podcast. That'd be cool. I'm sure a lot of people like to listen to her. She's got a lot of insight. She's got a lot of wisdom. She's my wisdom queen. She gives me a lot of thoughts.
Yeah, that'd be cool, I think, for you guys to share how you balance all of her tour. You're in the middle of the NFL season.
I think
it'd be
it's a lot of
encouraging
communication. It's about each other. It's about supporting one another. We really love supporting one another. Like when she's on stage, I get so excited, and when I'm on the field, it's vice versa. So
Yeah.
I think that and we always just try to make sure that there's not too much of a gap. I know we're always moving around, but
Yeah.
we try to keep it less than a week. We get to see each other at least at some point, and we spend a lot of quality time together and have our date nights and everything else. And I think it's just planning ahead. I think for any of the lovers out there, you gotta plan ahead. You gotta think. How to be romantic. You gotta think. Even if you're not the most romantic person, there's some people that I'm naturally, I like doing stuff, and she is too. But for those guys and girls who may not know what to do and how to do it, look online, think of ideas, be creative, and step out your comfort zone sometimes too. I think that's critical. Try new places. That's one of the things we love doing. We love trying new restaurants, trying different spots and everything else. And I think that creativity and that idea of, when we're away from each other, it's like, you kind of feel like you're dating, it's kind of like, which is cool.
anticipation of-
So like, when you're dating somebody, you kind of like, you want to keep talking to them and texting them and calling them. And so we do that a lot. So FaceTime, videos. We send a video to each other every morning, every day. That's key. And so that's how we keep in touch. And then I think really what happens is our assistants are rock stars. My personal assistant,
Tanisha.
T, and go to Amanda for Ciara, and then our family assistant too. So they're helping out and making things function and move around here. So it's good.
I want to. I know we like to have fun. We also like to get real here on Danger Talk.
Ooh, okay. I thought we got real with Scott.
A pretty real question that came in via email. This is from Eric. He says, as someone who has lost a father and yet accomplished so much personally and professionally, I was wondering if you could speak on Danger Talk about overcoming loss and grief. I asked because I recently lost my father and was hoping some thoughts on Russell's experience. So Eric, our condolences to you, my man. Russ, I know it's a big part of your story.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So, I'm sure Eric and there's plenty others out there that would love to hear kind of just your thoughts on that.
Well, I think when you lose somebody, you lose time, you lose experiences, you lose moments. And I think when I think about my dad, that's the one thing that if I could have one wish in the world, it would be just to spend another day with my dad. Yeah. If I could just have another 24 hours. But I think that the moments that we carry, the experiences that we have with our family members and our loved ones and stuff like that, that's why we can't waste time. Because my time may be today. It may be tomorrow. It may be a year from now. It may be 50 years from now. And the quality time that we spend with them are the moments that we remember, are the times and the things that we get to look back and say, you know what, like we did everything together, or you look back and say, you know what, I didn't do that very good. and then you regret it, And so I think the best way to overcome something, Eric, is think about the good times. Let the good times roll. Think about the good times. Think about all the amazing moments that you've had. Not the regrets, not the times that you didn't do this, or you should have done this, but think about the next time you may see your dad again, and think about the songs you'd sing in the car. I remember going down to Louisiana, go to Peyton Manning's football camp. I remember I had a vivid image of me and my dad driving in the car. We're in this white, little car driving in Louisiana flatlands and all, going to Peyton Manning camp. I was in about 10th grade, and I remember singing some Elton John songs, and we had the 70s mix playlist that my boy Cole Hawthorne made actually on a mixtape, mix CD. And I vividly remember that. Vividly remember us. It was hot. We rolled down the windows, opened the sunroof, and we sang as loud as we could sing. And times like that are real. They're real. And think about those moments. I think the other thing I would say is, the reality is that the thing that's got me over tough times in my life, whether if it was losing my dad or even relationship stuff, or unfortunate Super Bowl loss, is that the reality is the sun still comes up in the morning. The sun still comes up in the morning, and I think the people that really care for us when we lose them, they want you to move on. They want you to live your life to the fullest that they want you to live it. And I think my dad, he'd be smiling right now. I know he's smiling right now wherever he is. I know he comes to every game. I feel like he's right in the best seat in the house. And the reality is that he wanted to leave me with something, and he left me with discipline. He left me with discernment. He left me with love. He left me with community. How to love others, serving. He left me with many talents. He taught me how to play the game. He taught me how to treat other people. He taught me how to do things, and he taught me that it's not going to be always perfect, son. And so I think that he taught me a lot. Yeah. And so I think the things that he's taught me have been influential in my life because I use those things to this day, consciously and subconsciously. And I think about those things because now I get to do those things with my kids. Even being a stepdad in the future and being able to help raise him and love on him and help him and just care for him, and to hold his hand along the way and to show him how to hit a baseball, early mornings and long nights, and show him how to, play football and go to soccer games and do that. I remember my dad running up and down the sidelines. At every game he'd be in his full suit, and tie and shoes, and take off his jacket and throw his jacket on the grass. He didn't care. He'd just run up and down the sideline with me. I think those things are real. And I remember him teaching my sister how to play basketball in the cul-de-sac. I remember vividly looking out the window and being in my window and looking out the cul-de-sac and my sister doing reverse layups at 3 years old. And I was like, what is that? And he taught my sister how to do that. And now she's playing basketball at Stanford. And the lessons that our kids never learn anything. God gave me big hands. For some reason, he gave me big hands, right? But if my dad, my mom, never showed me how to use these hands and how to throw a football. My dad never taught me that. Well, these hands would be useless. Yeah. So the things that we teach our kids, the things that we show our kids, when Ciara and I always says, when you give love, when you show love to your kids, to your children, right? They receive it and they know how to give it back. When they grow up, they're going to know how to give it back. And if you don't give it to them, they won't know. If you don't teach them how to do something, if you don't teach them how to say this or that and when to say it, when not to say it, and show them the ways of life, then how do you expect them to learn it? And so I think for me, that's always been a fundamental thing in my life is that my parents, they really encourage rather than discourage. And so, Eric, if I could give you one nugget of information is to love big, is to love with a full heart and to have amazing memories of the moments that you have had. So that way, when you look back on it, man, you realize, the sun still comes up. And you know what? My dad, he wanted me to live this life today because the sun came up today. He wanted me to live it to the fullest. And I think that's the thing that is really critical in life.
So Eric, man, we appreciate you sharing. I know it's not easy.
Sure.
And Russ, thank you for sharing. Hope you guys are encouraged by that. I know you got to get out of here. You got some work to do.
Yeah, good work.
And off to
We got a game to win.
Arizona.
Let's go.
Let's do it. I think next week we might be TBD. I know you got a short week on
Yeah, we got to
Thursday
play the
Night
Rams
Football.
next week. We got the Rams
So
coming
we
in
might
next
be
week.
TBD on Danger Talk. We'll let you guys know, but always appreciate you guys tuning in and listening. We'll see you guys. In a
Thank you
couple
guys.
weeks.
Appreciate you guys joining us. It's always a pleasure. Keep listening to us. It's always a blast. The co-host, Daniel Mogg on Danger Talk. He's always the best. He is the man with the master plan. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for always being the best. Thank you for being such a great creative director and being such a brilliant mind behind the camera and in front of the camera and everything else. And thanks for making a difference in people's worlds, not just mine, but other people's. And we'll see you guys soon. Hopefully I'll see you guys in Arizona. If not, I'll see you on TV. Let's go keep it going. Let's keep it happening. And let's go get a dub. Let's go. Go Hawks.
Go
See you
Hawks.
guys. Love y'all. Peace. Danger Talk. We out.